what do you think about the safety law, aka the Purge Law, coming to Illinois on January 1st?
Well, obviously it's madness. It is the Purge
Oh
Law.
God, I know
you
you're
in
getting
Illinois?
your popcorn ready, right?
Are you in
Nick,
that
you know
state?
about that. Oh no, I'm in the same state as Nick. I'm in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, is that adjacent to Illinois?
We're close enough. Like
Yeah,
we're
get
saying,
the fuck out, man. You're about to be awash in violent felons.
oh
So
God, it's gonna be epic.
It's gonna be unbelievable. It's like people imagine that these dudes we put in jail never did anything wrong. They're just like accidentally they tripped and fell into a fucking prison cell.
Yep.
These are bad motherfuckers, man.
I'm
They will fuck you up.
I am offended right now. Some of these people fall, they land on the gun that their neighbor dropped, and it just goes off into the heads of children. What are you talking about?
That's exactly how it happened.
So many gateways for people who are kind of incidentally engaged by the criminal justice system to be diverted. The guys who end up in prison, these are bad motherfuckers. These are not people who were, walking the crosswalk the wrong way and suddenly ended up with a 10-year prison sentence. That's all bullshit. These are bad, bad dudes, and we're letting them out. And not only are we letting them out, so they're free now to prey on other innocent civilians, but now they've learned a lesson that they're not held accountable if they do it. So they're going to be twice as fucking bad.
Yeah, there you go.
If you are out there anywhere within Illinois and you don't already have a gun you're carrying everywhere for personal protection, you are out of your fucking mind.
Everyone has to be Rambo. Nick, here's
why should that be? We shouldn't be living in that world, right? I don't want
talking about. I really want to live in 1986 El Salvador.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's gonna be. Here's the thing, though. So there are people out there saying, no. People are still gonna be thrown in jail, Drex, eventually. And I said, look, dude, if you don't have to post bail, right? So you just get to walk the street. This is the worst idea since what? Since the 60-day murders of New Orleans. Remember that? Nick, on a murder rap in New Orleans, you served 60 days in jail. On day 61, so long as a prosecutor could not produce a witness, you walked free.
Oh, you just got to kill all the witnesses.
Then. Yeah, and they did.
You just gotta
they literally killed all the witnesses. Like, so here's the best part.
What would you do?
Here's the thing.
Come on, what would you do?
I'd kill the witnesses and anybody in the county. Wait, what was that? What was that line from Shaft? I know motherfuckers clean out a whole area.
Area code, that kind of cheese. Yeah, look, Andrew, this is the thing. A lot of people have never actually been around real criminals. I was like, the things that these dudes will do. I'm talking career criminals. I don't mean, like you said, a guy who I slipped and fell into a crime. No, I'm talking about dudes when they wake up, they're like, all right, so I gotta get in and do some work today. Like they're gonna go do something.
No. Like, people don't understand. For these guys, whatever your job is, you're a plumber, you're a lawyer, whatever your job is. For these guys, their job is violent crime. That's their fucking job. That's their profession. That's what they wake up to do in the morning.
That's fucking cool, man.
It's awesome.
By accident.
Well, you know what's crazy? Nick and I talked about this. I know, every guy's watched Pulp Fiction, right? And when you watch Pulp Fiction, Nick and I always used to comment about the fact that if you watch the very beginning, right? It's one of those you blink and you miss it. When Jules and Vincent are talking to each other on the way to go meet up with their informant, right? As they're talking about foot rubs and this and that in Amsterdam and all that. There's a moment, and a lot of people miss it.
Let's get in character.
Yep, and that's the one, Joe. You remember that, right? Because remember, these dudes. It's like when you work with, like you said, a plumber sits there and cracks jokes about whatever his wife. You see this shit. You watched the game last night, but when it's time to go do their job, they're like this, Bronca. Look, all right, man, let's get into character. Like let's be plumbers, right? Let's be electricians. So these guys.
What they said in the Super Mario Brothers world.
Let's be plumbers.
Let's be plumbers. Let's pipe this peach.
The plumber goes in and he tells that wife who's waiting for him, well, ma'am, we have a serious problem with the plumbing system here. And he's not telling the dick jokes he was telling.
He's not. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he does the job.
I mean, unless he wants to get laid, then he is.
Right.
Well,
unless it's like that 70s cheesy Waka Waka music. In the
background. Man, Joe, when it's like,
they don't
did
call
you order a
sausage
pizza? But Joe, you remember that moment because like it really goes into the psychology of the criminal when they're like,
Yeah.
all right, man, let's get into character. Because when they are on the job, like I said, when they're not, deleting people, hiding bodies, when they're actually regular dudes.
Right.
And then, but when like you said though, when it's time for them to do their job, which is crime, it's like, all right, Joe, let's get into character. And all of a sudden, they just become vicious, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, 'cause
That's the amazing part of it. It's like a lot of violent crime is incidental for whatever reason. Someone loses their temper, they get in a fight or whatever. But then there's this category of people for who it's like, okay, let's put on the uniform.
Yep.
Like, just go in and go
do
to
you
work.
know? Hey Nick, do you know who had the best uniform?
About it. If, for any of you who are watching this, if you're not an outright beta male, if you're a beta male, just go away. But if you're anything like an alpha male, and you found there were circumstances in your life that led you to a point where to survive you had to commit armed robbery, how would you go about committing armed robbery? Would you do it like a pussy, or would you commit goddamn armed robbery?
Yep.
Right? That's what these guys do. That's their job.
Well, one of you goes to prison and the other one might get away.
Well, so Bronca, do you remember the movie No Country for Old Men?
Oh, well,
that is,
yeah. I remember the book better actually, but yeah, I saw the. I guess I saw the movie, right?
I think it's basically like shot for shot in terms of like page to screen for the most part.
Yeah.
But when you see Anton Chigurh, right? Do you remember that just the dead
like
eyes?
the psychopath.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember that? Like he just Joe, you remember that, right? He just his eyes are completely dead. Like
Creepy as creepy.
So
as
I worked, just so you know,
yeah.
Drex, I worked in the garbage industry in New York, in Harlem, New York City, and that industry, the commercial part of the garbage industry, is completely run by the mafias, and those guys they're all that. Every one of them is. They're not like the Godfather movies, where they all wear nice suits and they're personable and charismatic. They're all the guys I met in real life were that blank face.
Yep, blank face.
Right.
Okay, so here's what I need to keep up with the grift. Andrew, you got to pick